Today I'm going to be showing you how to remove a MacPherson strip. So first we're going to be going over the proper apparel. You're going to want to wear a shirt, short or long sleeved, it's up to you, pants, shoes, and I highly recommend that you wear safety goggles to protect your eyes. Now to go over the tools I'm going to be using today. This is the MacPherson strut that I'm going to be removing. I'm going to be using an air impact gun, a 19mm socket, and a clamshell strut compressor. So first, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to hook the suspension coil into the clamshell strut compressor, so that way I can compress the coil and remove the strut without hurting myself. I'm doing this by putting the coil into the hooks, but making sure I open up the clamps, so that way when I put the coil into the hook, I can lock it in with those little clamps. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to get the impact gun and the 19mm socket, and I'm going to compress down the coil. Make sure that your impact gun is set to the tightening mode, and then begin to compress. You're going to tighten it down until you feel that the strut is loose. Not quite yet, so I'm going to be tightening a bit more. Now that the strut is loose, we're going to be removing the Jesus nut. So, first we're going to be removing the Jesus nut cover. And when doing this, make sure you remember the order of things that go on so that you don't put on your stuff wrong. So now we're going to be removing the Jesus nut. And it's called the Jesus nut because if you do not do this job right and you remove that nut, you will be seeing Jesus. Then we're going to be taking out the strut retainer. Now here I'm using a hammer to remove this off of the shock absorber because sometimes it gets stuck. And I'm not hitting it too hard, but just enough. Then we have successfully removed the strut. So to put the strut back in, we're going to be doing the same process but backwards. So first you're going to want to align this little indent in the gasket along with the end of the coil so that the end sits nicely in that little groove or indent. And you're going to want to do the same thing with the strut so that it sits nicely in there. The top one also has a little indent that the top of the coil is supposed to sit nicely in, so make sure that is also the same. Then now we're going to be putting all the parts back in, and make sure you remembered how you took them off so that you do not put them on wrong or in the wrong order. Now I'm going to be putting on the Jesus nut that keeps everything in. Here I'm getting my impact gun and I am tightening down the Jesus nut. I don't recommend this, but I'm holding the shock absorber so that way I can better tighten the Jesus nut. You can tell it's good enough when the nut is threaded completely. So now I'm going to be decompressing the coil by loosening the clamshell strut compressor using my impact gun. Now that I've got the compressor completely decompressed, I can begin to remove it. Now that is how you remove a strut.